Y'all ready to talk about some sports?
They're going to the kitchen and the bathroom. Go ahead, man.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Time for Victor Allen's New News Sports. His unique fan-based view of today's sports events. That's right, Victor Allen, the man that the ladies have nicknamed Sexual Chocolate. Rub his head and make a wish. You can be part of it. Jock straps and sports bras. Come prepared for sports. It's time for sports, people!
First thing I'm going to do, man, is give props to a national high school number 1, number 2 ranking in the U.S. football game. St. John Bosco versus Mater Dei. Mater Dei caught an ass whooping earlier in the year, but then came back as the number 2 ranked football team in the U.S. and then handed it back to St. John Bosco. I want to do that because I don't get to cover as much high school sports as far as the football, but hey, I follow it when you have 2 top teams nationally ranked. So I guess they're going to split it off. I wish they had a third game for the tiebreaker. We're going to leave it at that. I got to give real talk. I'm a Pac-12 football person. Now, we stink this year in the Pac-12 all across the board. Mario, that includes USC, UCLA, Stanford.
Don't hurt my feelings.
Don't hurt your feelings. Everybody, we stink. So the only way I can talk like this is because I have to talk about football. But when you are loyal, like for example, Mario knows those are rivalry games. For example, Howard University. What was your rival team in football?
Morgan State, Willie Lanier's place.
How well have they been doing in the rivalry games?
Well, now they're doing good today. Today they're doing way better today.
Thank you.
Than they did back in the day. Howard never was a football.
That's right.
Power at all.
And I followed them. They were not.
Right, they were considered an academic, institution.
Right. Wait a minute. They didn't get that. Do the face again because I didn't get. There you go. All right, I got you, man. See, I just want that's the ha is for a reason. He's not spelling it out, but he's just letting you know. All right, look, man. The USC UCLA rivalry game. I don't know if there's a win or loss on that because you're talking about 500 teams, and I think they both probably won't be able to get in bowl games. If they get into bowl games being under 500, that pre-contract arrangement doesn't matter how many games you lose. That money is talking. I ain't mad at that. Man, did you see that game? Michigan, Ohio State.
Hey.
Dude, did you see that game?
It was something else.
Okay, let me just say this. Is there a problem with the coach at Michigan? Because when you're the 4th seed in the playoff tournament ranked, how do you give up 62 points, man?
Well, not willingly, I hope.
Wait, but 62. Got your
high, yes.
See, I'm just putting it like this. I'm not picking either team.
Well,
neither one of these teams are mine, but I have to report on, the Pac-12 ain't doing it, so I got to go the rivalry. So let me just say this. All right, Ohio State's ranked number 10. They bumped up to 6 after this ass whooping. Jim Harbaugh and his team haven't beaten Ohio State for 2,000 days. 2011, going way back to like November 24th or something. Did they hire Jim Harbaugh to say, your job here is to beat Ohio State first before you get to the national championship?
Well, I mean, that regional rivalry, I even remember it when I was a kid.
That's right. I do too.
So that's a long-standing rivalry.
Yes, it is.
So, in a sense, when you're hired by either of these schools,
right,
they want you to beat them
first.
So, yeah, that's
you can't get to
they
national.
Actually care about that more than any of the other stuff. They can even have losing records sometime, but as long as they beat each other, that's the final.
That is
somebody beats. It's who beat. Even if both teams are having losing seasons, it still comes down to how they're going to feel. Depends on who wins that.
Okay, so look. I'm just going to say this: Ohio State played their best game. They were not favored to win. I got to figure this out, Mario. Was Michigan overrated? You give up 62 points. It's any other day. Are you overrated? Was the 4th spot overrated?
Well, I mean, it's hard to argue about that when you have the evidence, you have the ratings, and you have the scores.
Right.
The expectations certainly seem to exceed the performance.
Yes. Yeah. And look, I'm not here to make the judgment. I'm just saying now that Ohio State's going to make their bid to try to get in the college football playoff. I'm going to leave that alone. Leave it to everybody else. The question becomes, moving forward, does it look good? Because Michigan was looking like the team that Harbaugh always wanted. And they failed historically worse than when he first got there. So if this is the team that's rated fourth in the nation, and then they come and get their ass handed like this, how long do you think Harbaugh's going to be at Michigan, man?
Well, we're going to see. He got a big time contract,
Yes.
a lot of money.
Yes, he did.
To leave the 49ers, right?
That's right.
To leave the 49ers and go there.
And he has not won one game against Ohio State.
So there you go.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go over to the game that was more exciting, maybe than Kansas City Chiefs and LA Rams. I go, whoa. LSU, number 8 in the nation, falls to Texas A&M. Highest scoring FBS game ever. 74-72. 7 overtimes. They scored.
Can you imagine 7 overtimes? I didn't even know.
7.
7 overtimes.
Right. 7.
How long the game and time was?
Yeah, you know what? I was so busy going, do you know
Wow, 7 overtimes.
they scored, I think,
PMC, 7 overtimes.
80. They scored 80 plus points. They scored more points in overtime than they did in the regulation time.
Gee.
So did we miss the best game of the year? Because dude, that's Jack, man. Why you want to do that?
Wrong side of things.
Right.
Give it up. Now you got to give anybody that for 7 overtimes.
7
Just playing that long.
And typically it's more difficult to score because you're tired. They scored more points. So I wish I would have
7
watched the game,
overtimes.
man. So here's the thing. Not only did the team who was ranked, to defeat, Texas A&M lose, we lost in 7 overtimes. Okay, not a big deal. I need to go back to watch the game because when I watch overtime games, they typically are not as exciting. They tend to be who's going to score first. How did they get to this point? 7 overtimes. So, hey, I'm going to put it up there close to maybe the best game of the year. Got to be, man.
I'll give it up. Let's give it some.
Yeah. All right, now I got to get over here to the team that's underappreciated with the record-setting quarterback from Los Angeles. Can you say Phillip Rivers is Los Angeles? Can you tie it together? Is he still?
I still say San Diego Charger, but
Right.
I've always respected him. He is a throwback to the quarterbacks of old, a gunslinger.
Right.
He is a gunslinger. Always has been a field general.
Right.
He leads his team, and he leads them when they win, and he leads them when they lose. And I have a tremendous amount of respect for him.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's got a bunch of girls, too. I think he's got like
A large family.
4 daughters or
He has
something like that.
he's a family man.
He's a family man.
Yeah, ain't
He's
mad
got
at
a
it.
lover. So I really like this man,
Yeah. No. he
Phillip
is.
Rivers, and I'm so glad for their success. I got to give him a clap.
Right.
Because I'm not a Chargers fan. I'm really not. I haven't been historically. I don't know about you.
Let me say this, and people are going to go like this. I've been more the Chargers in the last several years than I've been the Raiders. Now,
Oh, I would be that.
and I'm only
Shit,
saying
yeah,
that.
I'm not
yeah.
Raiders no more.
Yeah, Raiders because
Oh, hell no,
not the
Raiders.
players. Not the players.
Hell
The
no.
organization itself from the top, you just can see the lack of them going to get the best. They tend to say, hey, our brand is so strong. And you know this, Mario. When you have a brand that's so strong, you're winning as you're losing. And if you can afford to go get a stadium built and you can get all these other things tied into your investment because that brand is so strong in the merchandising. So for that, I'm not mad at them. I like the branding. But as far as the team, oh, my God, no. So I just want to give props to Phillip Rivers for the 25 straight completions NFL record, or for the consecutive passes. So I want to give him props because, he's not going to get too much love because, the LA Rams right now got the fever. Not a big deal. here's the other thing. At the end of the day, he came out around the same time as Drew Brees. They both are kind of up there with those records, although Brees is a little extra because he's got a little more yardage, but Phillip is right there. Who do you think will retire first? Phillip or Drew Brees? They came at the same time. That's a hard one. I kept thinking about
Neither
that.
one of them showing any signs of retiring.
Not at all. So
Yeah, I don't know.
you know,
Neither, because that's the point. When you said it, it made you stop and pause because neither one of them
right.
are showing any signs of retirement or real decline.
Right.
They're like, so it's easy to imagine them going at least each another 2 years, maybe 3.
I can see Breeze. He looks like he can go a lot longer. Just
Rivers looks like he's in great shape too. They both look like they're in great shape.
right. You know what? What works for Rivers is he's not running. He's not putting his body up against all that.
Both of them, that helps, right?
Even though Drew can run a little much better.
He can, but they don't
Right.
do it so much, right?
Right.
They're not. Both of them are okay. They're careful with how they use certain things, so hopefully they'll last better.
Right. And right now, as it stands, the 3 top teams still New Orleans, Rams, Kansas City. You can flip it either way you want. And then the best team now, because I had Pittsburgh 4th after they lost against Denver. So I know, PMC, I know you are sitting there just suffering because Denver handed Pittsburgh that ass. And I like Pittsburgh.
did.
They did. But now.
I'm sorry, PMC.
I'm still sorry, man.
Head on over to
I'm sorry, bro.
Head on over to get your craft brew.
Yeah, hey, look.
Go on and get one.
You got to get measured by what you deliver.
Get some potato skins too, if you can.
Hey, Le'Veon Bell could have made a difference. I'm gonna leave that alone. So we got Chargers probably going to be the 4th best team in the NFL right now. So cool. All right, I'm going to the NFL doom and gloom, and we're going to see if there's a rescue out there for a couple of teams that just seem like they're on their way outs. Mathematically, they're still in it, but we're going to find out who has the best shot moving forward. And if you watched the game yesterday with Green Bay and Minnesota, you would go, ooh, this Aaron Rodgers and this team, not good. So here's what we're talking about. Out of the 3 teams I'm going to mention, who do you think will squeak in with a streak of wins? Aaron Rodgers, Green Bay Packers, who are at 4-6-1. Blake Bortles' Jacksonville Jaguars at 3-8. And I know you guys saw that Shaq Mason fight with Leonard Fournette. They took that to the tunnels. Security had to keep watching them all the way in the stadium. I didn't want to bring out any video because neither of the teams seem like they're competing for a playoff, but you never know. Or Atlanta Falcons at 4-7. And you got Matty Ice Ryan, who's his rankings is QBR and his passing efficiency is good, but he's not clutch. If you had to put money on these 3 teams, which one will be your priority?
Green Bay.
You still go with Green Bay, huh?
I still go with Green Bay.
Yes.
I can't go with Jacksonville, dude. I just can't.
Yeah, it's kind of hard.
But it was a little harder to decide about Atlanta because I do expect Atlanta to perform better.
Right.
I really do expect them to perform better. And Green Bay, too. But it's like, who do we expect the most from? I think Green Bay.
Ooh, I want to, you know what? Let me say this. What hurts, you know what? The good thing about the NFC is that you have 2 teams at 10-1. When you get below that, what blows you away more is that there's these 10-1 teams, and then there's a drop where you got Chicago at 8-3, and then a bunch of 6-5 teams. So I would pick either or Atlanta, or possibly Green Bay, because of the divisions that they're in. Because the losses, to me, they can easily get on the streak and get a wild card because there's a lot of parity right now. When you go to Jacksonville, you don't see no offense. You just really don't see it.
Not consistently.
No,
No,
you don't see it.
At some point, Bortles, who has shown, moments of greatness,
Right.
just, but he's been playing since he was a rookie, and that's part of the thing, too.
Right.
So I don't know.
Okay. All right. Going to take you out on what I call the ball game within the ball game, and I call it the Clippers and the Lakers. And I always say this is Laker town. We know that. But the Clippers are like balling out on defense and scoring, and they don't have what they call that number one terminator. So when I say that, you know what I'm saying, Mario. They always go to.
They appear well coached.
You don't have your marquee player, but now you guys are first in the division. Now, if you're first place in the Western Conference, really first place in all the West, because the only teams that have better records are Milwaukee and Toronto in the East. Why are they better with Paul, Blake Griffin, and Jordan gone? Is it too much diva?
Well, I don't know. I don't want to say that. Maybe it's just chemistry. I mean, I just put it down to that. Sometimes you get people together. We talked about this before because when the Lakers were in that period where they were in a sustained rebuilding thing to me, we talked about this because I wanted a blue-collar, hard-working team.
Right.
That came out and pushed hard.
Right.
And maybe couldn't beat the best teams, but was there representing every week.
Right.
And so the Clippers have done that and more. So I got to give it up to coaching. You got to give it up to Doc, man, because they're coming out prepared.
And he's got
Doc Rivers.
He's got 3 Hawks on defense: Beverly, of course, Patrick, Avery, and Montrezl Harrell, who's just like unbelievably hustling. So I'm not saying that the Jordan and Paul, and I agree, there's some chemistry. There may be some coaching things there. And then they don't have to deal with the elite player who's going to have to dominate the ball. That may be it. Now, when they get into the playoffs, they're going to have a go-to person. So if that's the case, so be it. You have to have that go-to person. Well, we're going to find out, can the Clippers live up to the ranking? Let's go to the NBA Power Rankings. And when you go to the NBA Power Rankings, you're going to find some teams that may be a little shocked that's not in the top 10. So when you go to number 1, you see, of course, obviously, it's Toronto Raptors, Milwaukee 2nd, Golden State 3rd, Clippers 4th, Thunder is 5th, Memphis is 6th, Denver is 7th, Philadelphia is 8th, and Portland is 9th, and Lakers 10th. Now, you guys are wondering why I didn't report on the Lakers losing against Orlando. The reason why I didn't report on them, I think those kind of teams the Lakers struggle with. They're athletic. They can get up and down just like the Lakers. And so I think what they probably did is kind of slept on them a little bit. So, hey, not a big problem. You're going to go through that's growing pains. Anything you see in this power ranking that maybe a team doesn't belong is about as close as accurate as you could see it right now. Anyone overrated? I was kind of shocked that the Lakers was 10th. That's to me.
I'm shocked with Memphis at 6.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, they're doing pretty good.
I know. It's just how we think Memphis is going to continue to do. We'll see. In other words, well, we'll see.
Yeah, because they focus on defense.
Right.
They focus
and then
on defense.
It's the ones that we think that they may have a shakeout
right.
as we approach the playoffs, right? In other words, some of these we don't expect. We just have no expectations for the playoffs for them.
No.
We just don't have it.
No.
And I just don't have any expectations from Memphis in the playoffs.
Right.
But maybe it'll be one of those things that'll surprise us.
Right. And yeah, look, we know Golden State, when they get healthy, they're going to be on top. We know that at the same time, the teams that dig in on defense, Philadelphia, dealing with the Markelle Fultz thing, I'm not sure where they're going to go with that. Portland is Portland. I'm not saying they won't be there.
Boston and Houston will move up.
Oh, okay. Now, I've got them 12th and 14th in the rankings.
I see.
But let me just say this. Who will have more trouble playing to their expectation? Because one has given up their defensive players. That's Houston. And with Boston, they've added Gordon Hayward to get into the mix that puts some of their players on the bench to come into rotation. And they're both struggling barely at 500.
I think Houston's going to continue to struggle.
Yeah.
You know, I'm hoping Philadelphia doesn't. I just got to see how that gels, dude.
Yeah, but see,
I got to see how that.
Think about the problem they got, though.
What a great problem, huh?
They literally go.
See, what happens is it's going to be judged. Everybody made these. This is a year where you had a bunch of team adjustments across the board in a lot of ways. And so everybody's going to seek to see how that plays out.
Right.
San Antonio may be moving up in here somewhere.
Right. Well, yeah, and you know what? You're right. If you go watch the games, it's like it's such parity now. There's no overwhelming dominating team. The only one I know that can maybe is Golden State. We haven't even got all their players
Yeah, so
healthy
you're
yet.
wondering what they're going to play like. Again, it's exciting. This is what they want.
Right.
Because you're wondering what Philadelphia is going to bring.
Right. And as long as
you're
it's,
wondering
right.
about Milwaukee.
Right. This is the best thing that's happened for the Lakers. So many teams are knocking each other off, even while they're going through their growing
the
pains.
Lakers, I told you this was a good time for the
Yeah,
Lakers.
it's a good time. Because if this was a regular season where they just have these standard teams blowing everybody out in the beginning, it'll be harder for them to get up there in that top tier group. In the meantime, man, hey, I just want to give a little shout out to say, hey, look, you know, Rams, you about to get challenged next week. You go to Chicago. It's the next best team in the NFC, and they are known for defense. Mario, is there an automatic win for LA or Chicago going to handle it?
There's nothing automatic.
It's not. If you had
But
to be
LA
a bet,
will win.
by how many points would you say? Best defense in the NFC now.
Yeah.
Outside
I
New
expect
Orleans.
Chicago to do reasonable, though.
Okay.
But maybe 14.
14? Okay, so that you got it better than I do. I'll say between up to 10 points.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give them about 10.
Yeah.
All right, man, I'm out on sports, man. I'm done.
Victor Allen's New Sports, written and directed by the bald-headed black man. Remember to dress appropriately. Sports bras and jock straps for everyone. Maybe confusing, but hey, take some risks. Don't forget your foot powder. Get in there. Sports, everyone. Every week, recurring segment. That's what we say. It may be the only sports you need. Come on. Whoa.